This episode of Catch, Hook, and Shoot is dedicated to Lanny Poffo.
Up to the sky, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Zay, collectively known as SoCal Uncensored or
SCU! This is Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the worst podcast I've ever been on. Word.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the best podcast you never heard of. My name's Tom. I am your host. Today is Friday, February 3rd, 2023. I want to thank everybody for listening, watching, and subscribing on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure to check out our Linktree, which is linktree/catchhookshoot, or scan the QR code in the corner, and you'll find links to all of our social medias, the YouTube channel, the website, all of the podcast platforms, our Pro Wrestling Tees store, and all that kind of fun stuff. And if you ever want to shoot us an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So, as you saw at the top of the show, we are starting off on a sad note yet again. Just a couple hours before I clicked record on this episode, it was announced that Lanny Poffo had passed away. Lanny Poffo, of course, the younger brother of Macho Man Randy Savage, and great wrestler in his own right. The genius gimmick that he had in WWE was honestly one of the best heel gimmicks of its time. Prior to that, known as Leaping Lanny Poffo. Always had a poem. He was a very prolific poet. Had a new one every time he got in the ring, and on a personal note, I was a Lanny Poffo fan. Lanny Poffo was the first wrestler that I ever saw do a moonsault, and it was just the most amazing thing I had ever seen at the time. I mean, I was like a 7-8-year-old kid, but it was just amazing. He was also one of the first wrestlers I ever saw in a babyface versus babyface match, and this was in the late 80s. And it was shown on Primetime Wrestling, and I cannot remember exactly who his opponent was. I want to say it was Tony Atlas, but I'm not 100% sure, so excuse me if I don't have that exactly correct. But like I said, it was the first time I ever saw a babyface versus babyface match, and obviously it was a very technical match and things like that, and temper started to flare, so you saw a little pushing and shoving in the middle of the match, and when it came down to the end, Lanny Poffo lost, and right after the 3 count, he jumped up off the mat, raised his opponent's hand, showed a lot of sportsmanship and stuff like that. And I just thought at that time, again, I was a young kid, I just thought that was really cool, because it was the first time I had seen a babyface versus babyface match. And then, later on, of course, at that time, nobody knew he and Randy Savage were brothers. But then, obviously, I got older, learned more about the business, learned, some of the behind-the-scenes stuff. Found out they were brothers. They're both the sons of Angelo Poffo and things like that. And he was the one who inducted Randy Savage into the WWE Hall of Fame, which that was really cool. Of course, he had a poem for that, and yeah, I actually had the chance to meet Lanny Poffo at the very first StarCast, which was attached to the All In pay-per-view, and just a nicer guy you did not want to meet. I mean, he and Jay Lethal, who was using his Black Machismo gimmick for All In with Ring of Honor, were sitting at the same table, doing autographs, photo ops, and things like that. And my ex-wife was with me, and she wanted to meet Lanny Poffo because she was a huge Randy Savage fan. And so we went up to his table, talked to him a little bit. She told him how big of a fan she was of Randy Savage. to so much so to the point she named her son Randy after Randy Savage. And Lanny turned to Jay Lethal, told him they both thought that was really cool. And my ex she got overwhelmed, started tearing up and everything. And Lanny Poffo stood up from behind his table, gave her a big hug. He was wearing Randy Savage's Hall of Fame ring. Took the ring off his finger, put it on her finger, and took a picture with her. Did not ask for anything, did not ask us to pay for the photo op, just strictly out of the goodness of his heart because he saw how big of a fan she was of his brother. So that, that's the one memory that I'm always going to cherish. And I mean, it was like a secondhand thing for me. It wasn't happening to me. It was happening to my wife at the time. But it was an amazing moment. He was an amazing human being, and just really, really a big loss because he is another one who was just beloved throughout the wrestling business. If you've been, on social media at all today, you've seen just the outpouring of love for Lanny Poffo. So yeah. Rest in peace, Lanny Poffo, and yeah, just a couple episodes back in, we've already had to start 2 of them off this way. So anyway, we're gonna keep moving forward with the show that I originally had planned for this week. So we're gonna get back into doing the segments that we always did. Prior to our little hiatus that we took, and the way that we always started off is with something called the lead story. All right, so of course the lead story for this week is the Royal Rumble. 2 winners were Cody Rhodes and Rhea Ripley. So I got half my predictions right for the winners of the Rumble. For the women's, I had Liv Morgan winning, which hey, she was a runner-up. Lasted all the way from the beginning, as did Rhea. Rhea went in at number 1, Liv went in at number 2. So great showing by both of them. So Rhea Ripley will get the title shot at WrestleMania, and she has challenged Charlotte Flair. Kind of a rematch from a couple years ago, where during what I call the pandemic WrestleMania, where there was no crowd. So should be an awesome match with Rhea and Charlotte, unless Charlotte happens to lose the title before Mania, but I'm not thinking that's going to happen. And of course, Cody Rhodes is going to be challenging Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. So as it stands right now, it is going to be for both belts. So it should be, it's sounding like a pretty good two main events for WrestleMania this year. So I don't think there was any doubt that Cody was going to win, especially the way that they built up his comeback. I wish they had not announced his entry into the Rumble beforehand. That's the only thing I didn't like, because I think it diminished him showing up. I mean, he still got a good reaction and everything, but, had they not done that build up and just let him come out at number 30 as a surprise, then, I think it would have just added to it. But I'm sure WWE has their reasons for doing what they do. That's how I would have done it. But that's why Triple H runs WWE and I don't. So it is what it is. But yeah, like I said, should be a good 2 nights of main events for WrestleMania. I'm definitely looking forward to it. So let's move on to the next segment of the show, which is called the Match of the Week. All right, so this week's Match of the Week actually comes from AEW Dynamite, and it is Samoa Joe versus Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. And it was a no-holds-barred match, and just right out of the gate, it was insane. Darby Allin came out wearing a hoodie with thumbtacks all over it and just started, body splashing Samoa Joe, and that kind of set the tone for the match. The canvas was pulled back in the ring to expose the boards. There were tables. Both guys were bleeding. It was just, yeah. But it was an awesome match between these two. Samoa Joe did come out victorious, so he is once again the TNT champion and the Ring of Honor television champion, hence why he calls himself the King of Television. And but yeah, definitely worth watching. If you didn't watch Dynamite this week, if you haven't seen this match, make it a point to go back and watch this one, especially if you're into the hardcore no holds barred type of matches. Definitely worth the watch. So Samoa Joe, Darby Allin for the TNT Championship from AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday is this week's match of the week. Just a freaking awesome match. So moving right along, the next segment of the show is where I count down basically my favorite top 3 moments from the past week, and it is called the 3 count. First up on the 3 count this week, Sami Zayn is out of the bloodline. If you watched the Royal Rumble, you saw Roman Reigns retained the Universal Championship against Kevin Owens, and you could just see throughout the match, Sami Zayn was very conflicted. At one point, Roman asked him for a chair. Sami was very hesitant to give it to him. Eventually, he did, and Roman, like I said, retained the championship. It was a great match between these two. A lot of drama with the Sami Zayn part. And after the match, Roman and the Usos just proceeded to beat the hell out of Kevin Owens, beating him with a chair, handcuffing him to the ropes, just basically decimating him. And at one point, Owens was handcuffed to the ropes. Roman was going to smash him over the head with the chair. Sami got in his way, made him stop, and Roman tried to hand the chair to Sami. He didn't want it, didn't want to do it, didn't want any part of this beatdown on Kevin Owens. Eventually, Sami took the chair, and as soon as Roman turned his back, Sami blasted Roman in the back with the chair, and that was basically it. Then Sami caught the beatdown, and Jey Uso basically was just did not participate in the beatdown of Sami. Actually ended up leaving the ring while Sami was being beaten down by Jimmy Uso, Roman, and Solo Sikoa. So there's obviously some tension there, and this is obviously, I'm sure we're going to find out tonight on SmackDown, but this is obviously setting up I would think a match with Sami and Roman coming up at Elimination Chamber, which is in Montreal. Sami's hometown. Sami and Kevin Owens, both of them are from Quebec, so obviously going to set that up. But yeah, just an awesome payoff to this Sami Zayn storyline that's been going on for so long with the dissension in the bloodline and everything. Number 2 on the 3 count, Gunther entered the Rumble at number 1 and lasted all the way to the end. He was the last person eliminated by Cody Rhodes, broke the record for a traditional standard Royal Rumble, meaning the 30-man Royal Rumble, 71 minutes, an hour and 11 minutes, and I think 25 seconds. So, I mean, just blew the record away, and there are a lot of people upset that Gunther didn't win it, but I get it. But WWE is going to go with the Cody Rhodes storyline. I mean, that's just the way it is. But this was, Gunther was an established star already, especially, for fans who follow the indies. But I think this really, if he was not cemented in everybody's mind already as a superstar in the WWE, he should be now. So, I definitely think you're going to see Gunther breaking into the main event scene sooner rather than later. So, if the fans can be a little bit patient, you'll see Gunther up there. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the first challenger for the championship after WrestleMania. And number 3 on the 3 count, the return of Wardlow came out at the end of AEW Dynamite after Samoa Joe won the TNT Championship. Of course, Joe first won the title from Wardlow, put him out of action, cut his hair, all this kind of stuff. So Wardlow comes back, and so it looks like that's going to renew the rivalry with Wardlow and Samoa Joe. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, because those are two big, hard-hitting, just hosses. So I can't wait to see some of those matches. Getting into some other stuff from the week, saw quite a few returns during the Royal Rumble. Chelsea Green is back in the WWE. Nia Jax is back in the WWE. Logan Paul was in the Royal Rumble. Just a sick spot between Logan Paul and Ricochet, standing on opposite sides of the ring. They both did a springboard into the ring from the apron and just collided in midair. It sounded like a gun going off when the two of them hit each other. It wasn't even any specific move. They just springboarded from opposite ends of the ring and just smacked together. And it was great, not going to lie. And I'm not a Logan Paul fan. So I would think that could be a WrestleMania match right there, Logan Paul and Ricochet. It would not surprise me. I think it would be a very entertaining match. Edge made his comeback during the Rumble and, of course, started right back up with the Bloodline, or the Bloodline. Man, I am way off today. The Judgment Day. So I'm sure that's leading to a WrestleMania program. Michelle McCool was entered into the Women's Royal Rumble, which that was kind of a fun spot because she was actually sitting ringside with her daughters. Just her and her daughters. Undertaker wasn't at ringside with them. And when the buzzer went off and her music hit, she just kind of stood up, took her jacket off, and hopped in the ring. So it was a cool spot. Booker T came back during the Men's Rumble, which apparently he was not informed of that until during the pre-show. So I guess it's good that he had his gear with him. That's that old wrestling adage, always bring your gear because you never know when you're going to get tapped to get in the ring. We had Indy Hartwell, Roxanne Perez, and Zoe Stark from NXT all appearing in the Women's Royal Rumble, and Piper Niven. Yes, Piper Niven, not Dewdrop. Piper Niven was in the Women's Rumble. So that was definitely cool because when her name popped up on the screen, I literally sat up in my chair. I was like, wait, does that say Piper Niven? She's not Dewdrop anymore? So kudos to Triple H or whoever's idea it was to change her name back. Thank you. Let's see, anything else interesting that happened here? Beth Phoenix came out during the Rumble while Edge was fighting with the Judgment Day towards the back. Beth Phoenix came out and speared Rhea Ripley. And this was before the Women's Rumble, so Rhea went into the Women's Rumble at number 1 after having already taken a spear from Beth Phoenix earlier in the night. So that was pretty cool. Gunther and Cody Rhodes, as I already talked about, were the last two, and so it was number 1 and number 30 is the last two in the ring, and I believe that's a first. I could be wrong, but I don't recall off the top of my head seeing that before, so that's just a pretty cool dynamic there, number 1 and number 30 being the last two in the ring. And then in the Women's Rumble, the last two in the ring were Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, which were numbers 1 and 2, of course, reminiscent of Shawn Michaels and the British Bulldog. So some cool finishes to the Rumble matches. Another interesting spot there in the Men's Rumble, Rey Mysterio was supposed to come out, I think it was number 17, and his the buzzer went off, his music hit, he never came out. Came out later, he injured, that's why he wasn't in it. But the way that they played it out was the next entrant was Dominic, and he came out carrying Rey's mask and tearing it up or trying to tear it up. And Michael Cole made a point of saying, he hasn't earned the right to have that mask and things like that. So I would say this is definitely setting up Rey versus Dominic at WrestleMania for the mask, a match that's been talked about for a few years already, ever since it was announced that Dominic was training to get in the ring. So looks like they're going to finally pull the trigger on that one. And I'd be surprised if Dominic doesn't win. I mean, Rey's got to be contemplating retirement at this point. So I mean, we'll have to see, but I'd definitely say they're setting that match up. Then they made the announcements for the Elimination Chamber matches coming up at the next pay-per-view. The men's chamber match is going to be for the United States title, so it's going to be Austin Theory against 5 other opponents. And on the women's side, the chamber match is going to be for the number 1 contender for the Raw Championship at WrestleMania. So should be a decent pay-per-view. I'll definitely be checking that one out as well. So that's going to do it for news and rumors for the week. So right now I'm going to throw it over to Charlie G, and he's here with your Indie Cut.
I don't know if you like podcasts or if you don't like podcasts, but damn it, the Indie Cut with Charlie G. If you don't like podcasts, you're about to like podcasts, go watch the Indie Cut with Charlie G, damn it. It's the finest podcast amongst all podcasts.
Thank you, Tom and the Briscoe brothers. Hey there, wrestling friends. I'm Charlie G with your 2-week recap of this week's Indie Cut. We begin with Friday, January 20th, Stardom New Blood. It's on free on YouTube if you'd like to see it. They had New Blood tag team title tournament first round matches. So we had Amy Sarai and Nanami defeating Momoka Hanazona and Momo Kogo. Chanyota and Mai Sakurai defeat Hina and Lady C. Karma and Starlight Kid defeated Maria May and Zaya Brookside. That's right, Zaya Brookside's in Stardom now. Then we had Mirai and Tomoka Inaba defeat Hanan and Saya Ida. I'm going to stick with Stardom. And Saturday, their Stardom Award 2022 show. So they had a Future of Stardom title match with champion Amy Sarai defeating Mai Sakura. Yeah, Mai Sakura. Yeah, there you go. For Triangle Derby matches, we got Izumi Sai Kamatani and Utami Hayashita winning. They have 5 points. Maika Ozaki, Maya Yukai, and Ram Kaicho have 4 points. Hiragi Kuruma, Risa Sera, and Susie Suzuki have 8. Nani Takahashi, Yuna Mizumori, and Yu have 6 points. And then in the main event of the show is a Julia Gauntlet match, where Julia went to a 10-minute draw with just about everyone except for Hina, and she beat Hina in 2 minutes. Sticking with the Derby, we move to Saturday, January 28th. Triangle Derby matches. So we had Julia, Mai Sakurai, and Tekla have 4 points. Maria May, Mina Shirakawa, and Zaya Brookside have 6. Amy Sarai, Mirai, and Shuri have 7. Nani Takahashi, Yuna Mizumori, and Yu have 8. Then we had Azumi, Saya Kamatani, and Utami Hayashita have 7. To the 29th of January. Natsupoi, Tam Nakano, and Saki have 6. Amy Sarai, Mirai, and Suri have 9. Maika Azaki, Maya Yukai, and Ram Kaicho have 6. And then Maria May, Mina Shirakawa, and Zaya Brookside have 8 as well. Sticking in Japan, Saturday the 21st. New Japan Wrestle Kingdom 17, Day 2. Yeah, a couple weeks later, but they added Day 2. This is pretty much New Japan versus Noah. Nothing really of importance here. They had Congo versus LIJ Best of 5 series, and of course LIJ won that. The next day, it was Sunday the 22nd, where I believe the Okada, I can't think of his name, had the little beef, so check that out if you can. Also on the 22nd of January, we had Noah's Great Muda's Final Bye-Bye show. So let's get some winners here. They had a women's tag match of Jungle Kiona and Suri Anue, defeating Maya Yukai and Natsu Sumire. A pretty good match there. Timothy Thatcher defeated Masaki Mochizuki. Let's see. We had Anthony Green, Jack Morris, and Jake Lee defeated Daki Inaba, Masa Kitamiya, and Yosaki Inamori. Here we go. Amakusha, Ninja Mac, yeah, our buddy Ninja Mac, and Ultimo Dragon Team to defeat Dante Leon, KZY, and Yohei. I haven't seen that name in a long time. So good for Ninja Mac and Dante Leon to be over in Noah. Get more eyes on them. Then there was Dr. Wagner Jr., Kaito Kiyomiya, Satoshi Kojima, and Takashi Sugiura, defeating Katsuhiko Nakajima, Kanoi, Manabu Soya, and Masakatsu Funaki. Then main event, it was Darby Allin, Sting, teaming with the Great Muta to defeat Akira, Hakushi, and Omochi Mirufuji. This was a fun match. I believe some people have this on YouTube if you can find it. It was mostly Darby, Sting, beating up Hakushi for the Great Muta to do his finishing move. I just found out that he tore both hamstrings in the match. So him against Naito should still happen, but he is in some pain right now. So all the best to Muta. I mean, he moved kind of well for most of the match, and then at the end, if you see his press conference, he's being wheeled around in a wheelchair, so now we know why. To Sunday, January 29th, and Tokiyoshi Pro. More tournament matches there. So, semifinals is Maki Ito and Miyu Yamashita to defeat Juri Nagano and Moko Miyamoto. And we Hyper Marshall and Soka Nakajima defeating Miyu Watanabe and Rika Tatsumi. Over to England now, and Progress Chapter 148. Start spreading the news on Sunday, January 22nd. The news is they're no longer on the Peacock Network, or the WWE Network, however you want to put it. They are back on demand /progress.com, so check that out if you can. It came out on the 28th. So some matches on this. We had for the Progress Women's title contendership, we had not Riho, but RHIO won that. Leo Rush defeated Danny Black. Yep, that Leo Rush. For the Progress Women's title, champion Lana Austin defeated Session Moth Martina. For their tag team championships, champions Chuck Mambo and TK Cooper defeated Kid Lycos and Kid Lycos II. And for their Progress World title, champion Spike Trivet defeated Gene Money. I haven't kept up with them, and I guess I can't now anymore because they're off of the Peacock Network. Finally, back here in the States, we go to Friday, January 20th, and GCW Don't Talk to Me on Fight TV. Nick Wayne defeated Arez. Blake Christian defeated Andrew Everett. Jordan Oliver defeated Kerry Morton. For the GCW tag titles, Cyclope and Mito Extremo retained against the Ugly Ducklings of Lance Lude and Raul Killjoy. Tony Deppen defeated Ricky Morton in a despicable way. Then a four-way tag match was Mance Warner and Matthew Justice defeating Bojack and Lucky Ali. Caleb Conley and Zane Riley. And George South with John Wayne Murdoch. Pretty interesting. Of course, it was all over the place, so it was pretty cool to see. And then their main event was Vikingo defeating Gringo Loco in the match of the week. Pretty much, Gringo, he pretty much destroyed Vikingo. I don't know how he made it to Warrior Wrestling the next night, but there's some spots in there. Just Gringo Loco and Vikingo stole the show, stole the week of matches. So check that out if you can. Stick with GCW the next day. Take a picture 2023. We had Hunter Drake winning an 8-way scramble match. Blake Christian defeating Cabana Man Dan. Gringo Loco defeating Arez. Another great match. Mike Jackson defeated Marco Stunt. Yeah, it was interesting. Sawyer Rock defeated Billy Starks. Cole Radrick defeated Ali Ketch. And then for the G7 tag titles, it was Cyclope and Muno Extremo defeating Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne in a very good tag match there. Sticking with the GCW's theme, they were versus New South on Sunday the 22nd. Jordan Oliver defeated Tyler Franks. Cabana Man Dan defeated Tony Deppen. For the New South title, champion Kenzie Page, with the title belt is almost as big as her, defeated Billy Starks, which the title belt engulfed her, so check that out if you can. His title is this massively huge, and kind of funny to watch both these women try and hold on to it. It's like, so yeah. There was a 12-man tag match. So Team New South won this. Braden Toon, Chris Crunk, Kevin Ryan, Marcus Dillon, Rolando Perez, and Stephen Michaels defeating Perez, Cole Radrick, Gringo Loco, Jimmy Lloyd, Marcus Manners, and Yoya. So yeah, Gringo Loco worked all 3 days. So props to him. All great matches. Another tag match, Ali Ketch and Effie defeated Kerry Awful and Nick Iggy. Blake Christian defeated Hunter Drake. And a fine match there. And then Secret Play and Muno Extremo defeated Logan James and Tyler Matrix. On to the rest of the indies. Friday, January 20th, Defy Most Dangerous Wrestling from Tacoma, Washington. Artemis Spencer defeated Davey Richards. Marina Saphir defeated Cat Power. The Dark Order made an appearance with Alex Reynolds and Evil Uno defeating Miles DeVille and Sebastian Wolf. And then we had Judas Icarus and Travis Williams defeating Christopher Earls and Patrick Burrows. To Denver, Colorado, Lucha Libre at Laughs. We're Not Black by Dawn called the President. Interesting name there. For their women's title, they were a 4-way match. So Heidi Howitzer defeated champion Edith Cerrillo, Rochelle Riveter, and Trish Adora to become the champion. So she's also another double champion. And the main event was Dalton Castle versus Dak Draper. So a little Impact Wrestling more or less in this one. Down to Mexico and CMLL for the NWA World Historic Welterweight title match. Rocky Romero defeated Valador Jr. to become the champion, ending his 1,600-day reign. He only defended it 8 times, so not that big of a deal to me. It is what it is. To Saturday, January 21st, and Warrior Wrestling 27. I'll go over the winners now. Brian Pillman Jr. defeated Beastman. Christopher Daniels defeated Eli Knight. Konosuke Takeshita defeated Zachary Wentz. Max Impaler defeated Tootie Lynn. At the end of the match, Frank the Clown contracted Max Impaler for the next show. So I don't get it's whatever with that guy. Then we had Frank the Clown and LCC. Storm Grayson and Trevor Outlaw defeated August Matthews and Davey Bang. Calvin Tankman defeated Warhorse. Queen Aminata defeated Kylie Ray. For the Warrior Wrestling Championship, Casey DeMarro retained against Muddy Matthews. I talked about that the other time. And then for the AAA Mega title and the Warrior Wrestling Lucha title, Vikingo defeated Flamita and Ray Horse to become new champion. So we're to Kent, Ohio, and AIW Wasted Youth. Dominic Green defeated Sidney Von England. Joshua Bishop and Wes Barkley defeated Calvin G. Lewis and Malcolm Cambridge. And their main event was Arthur MacArthur, Chuck Stone, Joshua Bishop, and Wes Barkley defeating Derek Dillinger, Eric Taylor, Mikey Montgomery, and the Duke. Over to Pomona, California, and Prestige Vendetta. Davey Richards defeated Tyler Bateman. Evil Uno took on Jacob Fatu to a double DQ. Sonico defeated Shuma Katsumoto in a fun match featuring Legos, so check that out if you can. Kid Bandit defeated Robert Martyr. Mao defeated Kevin Blackwood in a very fine match there. And then for the Ring of Honor Women's title, champion Athena defeated Miyu Yamashita, and an outstanding match there as well. Also on the 21st, it was AAA down in Mexico. Let's see. We talked about Pentagon and Psycho Clown defeating Daga and Savadonis. They also had Commander defeating Jack Cartwheel. Mr. Iguana teamed with Nino Hamburguesa to defeat SB Kento and Takuma. And then we had Bestia 666 and Mecha Wolf with Pagano defeating Aramis, Vampiro, and Willie Mack. So I can't wait to see this show. On to Sunday, January 22nd. Big Lucha and Galley Lucha here in Melrose Park, Illinois. For the Galley Discovery title, champion Aaron Stone defeated Bandolero and Skyed. For the Galley Women's title, champion Misa Kate defeated Susie Love. And then the Copa Beginning 2023 match, Bandito, Galino Del Mar and Ray Horse defeated Axel Rico, Chuco, and Che Manny, along with Action Jackson, Emperador Azteca, and Flamita. Sorry if I really destroyed those names. On to Monday, January 23rd. Naptown All Pro. And I'm going to go all over the place today. Calvin Tankman defeated Solomon Tupu. Sawyer Ruck defeated Cole Radrick. And here we go. Chase Holiday and Sean Kemp defended their Emerge tag titles against Brogan Finley and Damian Turner. And in the main event was Lee Moriarty defeating Billy Starks. On to Friday, January 27th. St. Louis Anarchy, Gateway to Anarchy 2023. In Alton, Illinois, Davey Vega defeated Thomas Shire. Craig Mitchell defeated Anakin Murphy. The One Call Manders defeated Gary J. Billy Starks defeated Evan Helistico. Jeremy Wyatt defeated Mad Dog Connolly. For the Destination title, champion Christian Rose defeated Kenny Alfonso. And in the main event, for the Gateway Heritage title, champion Derek Neal defeated Warhorse. I saw that match pretty good. Little bad doings at the end, so Derek Neal retained with his dastardly deeds. On to Saturday, January 28th. No Peace Underground from Orlando, Florida. Jamie Senegal and Joey Janela, what a team, defeated Balakin Aiki and Mei Suruga. So good to see them all over the place in the States. Down to Mexico and the Crash Festival 11. I got that. All right. Black Destiny and Extreme Tiger defeated Adam Brooks and Travis Banks. Diamante Azul El Tejano Jr. And Pearls Jr. defeated Blue Demon Jr., Dr. Wagner Jr., and Rayo Helistico Jr. And then in a hair versus hair cage match, Toto defeated Proximo. On to Sunday, January 29th. Future Stars of Wrestling from Las Vegas, Nevada on Fight TV. So if you'd like to check this out. For the Nevada State title, Best 2 out 3 falls, Gregory Sharp defeated champion Gregory Sharp defeated Damian Drake 2 falls to 1. For the FSW tag titles, Fresco and Watson defeated champions Hero Leo and Shogun Jones to become the champions. For the No Limits title, Danny Limelight defeated champion Matt Vandergriff to become the champion there. For the women's title, in a steel cage match, champion Viva Van defeated Maserati. Also in a steel cage match, Nick Zander defeated Nick Gotti. And for the heavyweight title, also in a cage match, Ice Williams defeated champion Hammerstone to become new champion. So, Hammerstone's still fighting over there for them, so that's pretty cool. To Beyond Wrestling and Mike Snow from Worcester, Mass, which probably did snow, on IWTV. Baliki Naki and May Saruga defeated Jay Lyon and Midas Black. Gabriel Sky and Tristan Tai defeated Janai Kai and Yoya. Trish Adora defeated Manders. Love Dove defeated Little Mean and Kathleen. Bobby Orlando defeated Becca. For the IWTV Independent Wrestling title, champion Matt Tremont defeated Sydney Macabella. I can only imagine how that match went. Wheeler Yuta defeated Marcus Mathers. Dustin Waller and Kylon King defeated Akira and Masa Slamovich. And the main event was Alec Price defeating Leo Rush. And then finally, Destiny New Beginnings from Canada, also from the 29th. For their vacant Destiny New Era title, Ren Jones defeated Zach Patterson to become new champion. Tarek defeated Alan Angels. For the Destiny Wrestling World title, Steve Macklin defeated champion Aiden Prince to become new champion. And for the Destiny World Tag titles, the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin defeated Gabriel Forza and Vaughn Vertigo, who were champions. So the Motor City Machine Guns are champions in Canada. Congrats to them. So before I wrap things up, as I am recording this Thursday afternoon, and about an hour and a half ago, I read that Lanny Poffo passed away. Hacksaw Jim Duggan passed that along on Twitter. Believe it is true. There's a lot of news affiliates now covering it, saying that he did pass away. Sad to hear him go. As you can see, I'm a fan of the Macho Man's, as he pointing straight up. Sad to see this happen because tomorrow, Friday the 3rd, he was going to do a meet and greet, I believe, over on the East Coast. So obviously, I feel sorry for those fans. Condolences to the Poffo family. Yeah, he was a real cool guy. I just found him on Facebook. So the genius Lanny Poffo passes away. Another week, another good one gone. But yeah, all the best. Rest in peace, Lanny. You were pretty cool. The first remembrance of him, Andre the Giant busting him open on Saturday Night Main Event. He talked about that on his podcast. So check that out if you want to. Bit of a deep dive to find that is 4 years ago, but it pops up nowadays. So all the best to the Poffo family. So now that's a wrap for me. Till next time, thank you for listening or watching. If you'd like to pass anything along, please email the show. Take care, keep safe, be kind to everyone, and enjoy your wrestling.
All right, thank you, Charlie. And so we're going to keep it moving along into our next segment of the show here, and that is my top 5 of the week. All right, so the top 5 is basically just the 5 wrestlers who I think made the biggest impact for the week. No pun intended for Impact Wrestling, but just strictly my opinion. This is by no means definitive, so take it for what it is. But for this week, my top 5, I'd have to say tied for the top spot is Cody and Rhea winning the Rumble, getting the main event matches at WrestleMania. That's obviously the biggest story of the week. And then next would be Sami Zayn. The storyline with him and the Bloodline has been fantastic over the last few months, and finally seeing it pay off. I mean, it just elevated Sami as a top babyface and just got even more heat on Roman as the top heel in the company. So it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It was executed perfectly, in my opinion, and it got a ton of sympathy for Sami and for Kevin Owens, for that matter, and it was just very well done. Great payoff for that storyline. It's still not over yet, obviously, because we're gonna see Sami and Roman at least once, at the next pay-per-view. Next on the top 5 would be Gunther, breaking the record for longest time in the Rumble. And just showed, not only what a powerhouse he is, which everybody already knew, but what a workhorse he is. I mean, an hour and 11 minutes he spent in that ring. That is insane. I want to see anybody go do some hardcore cardio for an hour and 11 minutes. Go last an hour and 11 minutes in any kind of wrestling match. I mean, it was honestly an amazing accomplishment for Gunther. So definite props to him. And like I said, I think this is going to be his catapult into that main event scene, most likely after WrestleMania. And last but not least on the top 5, Wardlow making his comeback to, huge pop on Dynamite. Samoa Joe just in the ring looking terrified, and Wardlow comes running down. It was very cool return. I mean, it's been done a million times with a million different guys, but it's always cool when it happens because, especially when it's unexpected. So Wardlow's return gets the 5th spot in my top 5 for this week. So now this next segment on the show is where I just have a little bit of fun, get to play kind of armchair booker, if you will, and that's called the Fantasy Booker. So my fantasy booker for this week is a match between two guys who I have had the pleasure of calling matches for at Warrior Wrestling, and I don't know if they've ever actually wrestled each other on the indies. I know they haven't in any of the major companies, but I don't think they've ever wrestled each other on the indies. This match was actually pitched for AEW Dynamite back in May, and they couldn't get the deal done. They couldn't come to an agreement. But the match that I am booking this week is Killer Cross, Karrion Kross, whatever you want to call him, versus Wardlow. Like I said, it was pitched for Dynamite back in May, supposedly, but AEW could not come to an agreement with Kross. This was during Wardlow's reign as TNT champion, doing like open challenges, that kind of thing. I mean, having seen both of these guys wrestle on the indies, if you've only ever seen them in AEW and WWE, you haven't seen everything they can do. I mean, you see you get a pretty good idea of what Wardlow's all about in AEW. But if you've ever seen him on the indies where there's, less restrictions on what they can do and stuff like that, that's the kind of match I want to see with these guys. I just want to see these two beat the living shit out of each other. It sounds horrible, but it would be a fight. It would just be brutal and probably bloody and just violent, and it would be awesome. I would love to see these two guys in the ring together. Hopefully, they both still have long careers in front of them, so hopefully we'll get to see this one day. But I just think it would be an amazing, amazing match. Like I said, I've seen them both live at Warrior Wrestling, and that was the first place I saw Wardlow, and I will always, always tout my claim to fame. I had the first interview with Wardlow after he signed with AEW. Me. Nobody else. Me. And I am gonna keep pounding that home for the rest of my life because I got that interview. But and Killer Kross, another one, I got to meet him and Scarlett at a Warrior show as well. Awesome people. Same thing with Wardlow, nicest guy in the world. But in the ring, they're both freaking killers. So I want to see them just go at each other in the ring. So hopefully, sooner or later, one of these years we'll get to see that. So we're gonna get into the final segment of the show where I basically just kind of rant for a minute or two, and it's called the Weekly Hot Take. All right, so my hot take for this week, and maybe it's not that hot of a take because I know there's a lot of people that are asking the same question. Why did WWE bring back Nia Jax? And a lot of people say she's dangerous and things like that. And when that first started becoming a thing, I was one who tried to, like, I don't know, stand up for her is the right word, but tried to say, hey, give her a chance. I mean, it's wrestling, stuff happens, injuries happen, people get hurt, accidents happen. It's a thing. It's wrestling, like Jim Ross likes to say, it's not ballet. But that only goes so far. There comes a point where so many people have gotten injured. And it's, against the same person. You have to start asking, okay, is this person careless? Is this person, lacking in their skills? What's the deal? Why is it always happening with this person? You have to ask those questions. Now, maybe she's honed her skills since she's been out. I don't know. She's only been in the Rumble. We haven't seen her in an actual one-on-one match. And, I will say it was entertaining watching her get beat down and thrown out by every other woman in the ring. But, but not only that, not only the injuries and things like that happened in her matches, the amount of trash that she talked after she got released, it's like she was trying to burn that bridge. She was just pouring more and more fuel on it and lighting those matches, and it for some reason it just wouldn't burn. It just, like, I don't know. I mean, obviously she's still, if you pay attention to social media, she's obviously still friends with a lot of the women's roster in WWE, a lot of the men's roster too. So, maybe something happened behind the scenes and everything's all good on that front. Maybe she did go get some more training and honed her skills a little bit and can work safer in the ring now. I don't know. It's possible, but just on the surface, at face value, it just seems like a very weird, bad move on WWE's side. But, time will tell. We'll see when she actually gets back in the ring one-on-one with somebody. We'll see if it's business as usual with Nia Jax. So it just, and it was very telling, I guess is the best word, that her entrance was botched. Before the timer even ran out, before you even got the 10-second timer, her name popped up on the Tron and on the ring apron. So, hopefully that's not foreshadowing what her matches are going to be like. But when her entry into the Rumble, is botched from the get-go, it's not a good sign. So I'm hoping, like I said, I'm hoping it goes well. I'm hoping it was a smart move. I'm hoping WWE knows what they're doing on this one. But I don't have high hopes. I'll say that. So, yeah, that's my hot take for the week. That is going to wrap us up for this week. Again, I want to say thank you so much to everybody for listening and watching and subscribing on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search Catch, Hook, and Shoot. You'll be able to find the show. Head to our Linktree, which is Linktree/CatchHookShoot, or scan this little QR code in the corner of your screen, and you'll find links to our website, all of our social medias, YouTube, all the podcast platforms, Pro Wrestling Tees, all that kind of fun stuff. Anything about the show, you can find it on our Linktree. And again, if you ever want to shoot us an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. Once again, rest in peace to Lanny Poffo. Condolences to his friends, his family, of course, his fans like myself. Just a huge loss to the wrestling community. From the little bit of interaction that I had with him, he was just an awesome, just a good guy, just a nice guy. And, it's just, again, I don't know how else to say it. It's a huge loss for the wrestling community. So with that, I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you again for listening or watching, and hope everybody has a great week. Enjoy all the great wrestling, and we will talk to you guys soon.